I'm Carrie and welcome to Puzzle Kinder. Thank you for joining me. Now, if you have a child on the spectrum or a highly sensitive child, chances are you would have seen this pretty often. And that's because these kids do not have a very high tolerance for noises and sounds. It often results in a meltdown or them covering their ears. I have 2 kids on the spectrum and I have a highly sensitive child. So it is something that I've really had to work on in my household to create some form of harmony, because it really does trigger my kids and it quite often leads to flip outs, meltdowns, and fights amongst the siblings. My daughter has Aspergers with ADHD, and my son has early childhood autism, and my other son is highly sensitive. Now, what I've heard, and I'm by no means an expert, I'm just a mom and a teacher that is, of course, very, very interested and invested in the topic. But what I have heard is that autistic children, highly sensitive children, often hear different frequencies. So that means they're able to hear noises that we don't hear. The other thing that I've heard is these children don't have the same filtering system that we do. So what happens is when we walk into a really, really busy shopping center or a construction site, our bodies or our ears filter sound. So our ears actually dampen certain sounds and then help us to focus on the sounds that we need or the sounds that are closest to us. But with autistic kids or kids on the spectrum, they hear everything. And that's quite a tough one. And that's why very often in a very, very loud or busy place, you'll see kids covering their ears. Now, there are 2 things that I've been thinking of. And I heard a video by a gentleman the other day, an autistic gentleman, and it was really, really insightful for me. He went into a very, very busy shopping center and you could see he was very distressed by the noise. And he said it was all too much. But then he took a friend with him into a forest and he speaks about needing to dampen sound, but he even spoke about sound seeking. So he even said, well, it's kind of like a superpower. I even get to hear everything and all of it. Now, if you're in a setting that you love, you're by the ocean or you're going for a hike in nature, he says he will frequently go to those places because he hears everything and he's able to enjoy all the sounds. And it made me think, well, isn't that so cool? Wouldn't that be great if as a parent I can help my kids, and I think that's what I would be doing most of the time, to block out certain sounds, to dampen certain sounds, to help my kids come down, to help them to relax, to avoid meltdowns, but even find out what my kids love, what sounds they love, when do they light up, and be able to give them that. So the sound seeking, be able to take them places, or even just put on sounds that are calming, that are wonderful. And soothing for our kids. So even the sound seeking. And they're just 1 or 2 basic hacks, so simple, that I use at home. And the first is these noise dampening earphones. What's nice is that you can just tuck them up. So just like that. And those go into my daughter's school bag. She takes those to school because what she says to me, and she describes it, she says, you know, mommy, when I'm having a really bad day, the noises get so much louder and I just can't deal. And when she started 1st grade, the reason for her meltdowns predominantly were, she said to me, it's all just too loud. And when she was a very, very small baby, right from the beginning, when she was overloaded or something we call flooding, so she was just having a meltdown and couldn't be consoled. She didn't want to be consoled. She wanted to go to her bedroom and find her peace and quiet. And we started off with something called a Tony box, very, very popular here in Germany. So you just put on your little figure and it gives you stories. So this is My Little Pony, but there's all kinds of figures. So there's like cars. Anyway, so that's the new kind of CD player. And when she was very, very young, we would give that to her. She would go sit in her room and she would just listen to her stories. So kind of sound seeking, but kind of soothing. And she would tuck herself away and just enjoy her stories. There were even plenty of music that she would listen to from her different little Tony figures, and that would be great. But now at school, there's all this noise and there's nowhere to go. She would say, I'd even go to the back of the classroom, but it's still noisy. And of course, they're not allowed to leave the classroom by themselves. And so she was the one that said to me, Mommy, please buy me some headphones so that I can just drown out some of the noise. And we bought her those headphones, and she works a lot better. We got feedback from the teacher. She works so much better when she needs to concentrate. She says to me, I can hear the teacher, I can hear even everyone else, but it's just that much softer. And of course, it acts as a filtering system because it completely dims and dulls the noises that she doesn't need to hear. So that's one option. The other thing that we've got her is some Bluetooth headphones, as simple as that. So she loves stories, sound seeking. She loves stories. And so I've got a Spotify and an Audible account, and in the evening especially, when she really needs to wind down, especially before bed, she puts on her earphones. I play her some often silly stories or funny stories, and she just loves that. And so she'll often get to use these. Great to take on trips. When you know siblings are all going to be together in a car, or you've got to go to a social gathering, and it's just a great thing to have with you. If you know, I can see my daughter or my son, they're going to have a meltdown, it's just too much, it's not their day. And sometimes you can't always change events or appointments that you've got. And also, for me as a mom, I want my kids to be out and about. I want them to enjoy what other kids enjoy. But sometimes it's just too much. So that's a great thing just to have in your handbag, and easy to pull out and give to your kids. Of course, a tablet, etc. can also help. Earphones, I find, are because it just really dulls the noise. Another option is, if you're wanting something, of course, inconspicuous, as you've got little earplugs, that is an option. Of course, you want something that's completely safe for little kiddies' ears. There's a company called Flare Audio. They make little earplugs for kids, and they've got a little a filtering system so kids can hear, but the noise is dampened. There's also something called a dB blocker earplug, which autistic kids are even known to use. I don't know much about those things, but I will put some links down below and you can look into that if you're interested. The other thing is sound seeking. So my son, who has early childhood autism, he loves music. He loves music. And what we've noticed is it really, really calms him down. And we've been told classical music is a great one. And so we put that on. We run it over YouTube and we put it on our TV, and that plays all day. And it really does have a calming effect on our kids. That's a really great one, an obvious one, but maybe that helps someone if you haven't thought about it. The other thing as well is that I've read about is frequencies for autistic kids. It's called frequency therapy, sound therapy, and it's been known to help autistic kids. It's been known to help, or read that it can help autistic kids, especially those that have speech delays, and of course just to soothe your child as well. There's something else called pink noise, and pink noise is supposed to be used to help your children get used to noise. So it's not white noise, it's pink noise, supposed to increase your children's noise tolerance. Again, I've read up on these things. I haven't done much frequency or sound therapy with my kids. If you have, maybe you want to write some comments below. I'd be interested to hear if that's helped your children at all. So that's a little hack from me. I know it's an obvious one, but it's one of the most important ones in my toolkit. And maybe you're thinking, oh, why didn't I think of that? Well, then maybe this is for you. Maybe that's something worth trying. And if you have looked at sound therapy, if you have tried out some of these other techniques, or if you have another technique that's working to help your children with their sound sensitivity, maybe write something down in the comments. I'll be interested to hear it. If you found this video helpful, then like, subscribe, and share with anyone else that might need to hear this. Cheers, until next time. Bye.